Well, hello everybody. It's been a while. I actually took a break from YouTube last month because I got COVID. And even though I was vaccinated, I still got it pretty bad. I think the hardest part was like the mood symptoms, and I just got really depressed and I was feeling anxious, and I began feeling like a large sense of apathy. And all of that is just very difficult to manage when you're also getting a lot of headaches and you're physically sick. I do feel better now, but it's been a little bit difficult to get back to the routine that I was on before. I'm trying to be very conscious and aware of like what's going on. I really think I was just overworking myself to like an extreme. Like I was waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and then working till like sometimes past midnight. And this is like every single day for months. I think after getting COVID and just the whole recovery process of it, it's been difficult to just get back into doing that. And I think my mind is like expecting myself to like get back to doing that, but I physically cannot take it as much anymore. And I don't know, it might take time, but like honestly, like that is just a very unhealthy thing to do anyways. So it's definitely been an adjustment period where like now I'm trying to figure out what are the things that matter most to me. What can I discard so that I'm not trying to do everything under the moon and the stars and the sun. I think a lot of that was coming from this like fear that I'm trying to just like speed through my trajectory of like what I think is like success. Like for me, that's eventually getting to a place where I can financially support myself, and I'm trying to just like get there like super quickly, and so like I'm overworking myself. But I think it's okay to just take your time and go slow. Like my timeline is my timeline. Like I can't overwork myself out of fear. So yeah, that's been hard, but you all did not come here to listen to me talk about how I got COVID. And I don't know, maybe you did. Maybe some of you did, but I'm done talking about it now. So let's get into the March plan with me. Okay, let's get started on the March cover page. As always, I have penciled everything out already. It honestly feels a little bit weird sitting in front of this mic after not doing YouTube for a little bit. I just feel nervous and anxious and I don't know, lots of self-doubt like going through my mind. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I forgot how to do this? Well, I did kind of forget how to do this. In fact, I made a mistake so big that it took an entire day for me to fix. And it was giving me like so much anxiety because I'm already like super behind on getting this plan with me done. So what I did was that I accidentally deleted the entire first half of the footage for this video. I'm supposed to transfer it over to my bigger hard drive from my SD card that's in my camera. And I basically forgot to do that step. So I transferred everything over from my SD card into Final Cut Pro, and I have it set so that like this footage is stored on its original place. So it was being stored in my SD card rather than the bigger hard drive where it normally is. And so I basically deleted everything off of my SD card. So there's no actual footage left. I even emptied out the trash. It took me hours and hours and hours to figure out how to recover that data. So essentially I had to either spend $100 to get it back, or I figure out how to download this system called TestDis and go into the terminal of my computer. And it was this whole ordeal where I kind of had to code a little bit, and it was just a lot. I literally took a nap afterwards because I was so drained. I was actually considering not even doing this video after everything that happened, but I had already filmed like the majority of the second half of this video, and in my head I was just like, God, that would like waste like 4 days of work. And I am just actually really excited about my theme this month. Like, I was feeling very resistant to doing this. I was not motivated at all, like kind of what I said in the intro. I just had gone through a lot after the COVID situation happened, and then lots of other things happened in between that we may or may not get into this video depending on like the time. But I've just been finding it harder and harder to do the things I was doing before. And so I'm finding new ways to feel inspired. And one of the ways that, I was able to get excited about this month's theme was, for some reason, I just became infatuated with roses. I've actually been the kind of person that always thought roses were so cliche. Like, they were like, you know, skulls and roses. Like everyone, like every artist in the world loves skulls and roses, especially the ones that are like trying to be a little bit darker with their whole aesthetic. And I'm not trying to judge anyone or anything. It's just what my mind was going through for whatever reason. You know, that whole syndrome, the unique syndrome where I'm just trying to be different from everyone else. But all of a sudden, I don't know if I'm just going through like a dark period in my life or what, but I am just in love with the way a rose looks. I like that I can make it whimsical. I can make it fairy tale-like, or I can even make them cute, playful, and they can of course go into that dark aesthetic. So they're just very versatile, like flower. And of course, I can't forget to mention vintage, hello, but also they could kind of resemble the lips of like a vagina. And I just think that is so beautiful. I don't know if I could say that word on YouTube. I don't know if I'll get like penalized and like not get monetized or something. But if I do, well, that sucks for me. Just buy something from my shop. Of course, I'm gonna have to promote it, so don't hate me for my shameless plug. Okay, let's get into the actual bullet journal setup now because, you know, of course I had to go on a super long tangent like always. So the way I was able to kind of motivate and inspire myself into creating this bullet journal theme was the fact that I'm just obsessed with roses and I want to learn everything there is to know about roses. I want to know how to draw them. I kind of went through this like a similar thing when I did my January plan with me. Like I just was, I don't know, I fell in love with butterflies, and so I wanted to learn how to draw butterflies. So I made that the theme of my bullet journal. So kind of going off that concept, this month I went with roses, and so I'm trying to look at like different styles of art that use roses, and there's one particular artist that I have kind of been referencing a lot for this theme, and I hope I say her name correctly, but I believe it's Naimi Kanani. She has a very fairy tale-like style. Like it also has a lot of whimsicalness to it. It can get a little bit dark at times, just like touches of it. And I just think it's beautiful. And, you know, I am not anywhere near how talented and amazing she is at, you know, everything that she does. So I just, you know, I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. And so that's kind of how this theme came to be. I have touches of cottagecore and vintage aesthetic in it as well. Like my March cover page has this, I am just in love with my March cover page. You know, I love this mirror and I love that I added butterflies. Like I love that, you know, January was a butterfly theme and I was able to use touches of the themes that I've done before and bring them into my bullet journal themes as, you know, the months go by. And I think really this is how someone can create their own art style. It's by, you know, picking up the things that they've done before and the things that, you know, that they genuinely like to draw and learn more about, and sticking with those and seeing, you know, what we can come up with. So I did want to say that I'm kind of just winging this voiceover today because my computer is going super slow and I can't really pause and cut out things and redo them because it just is taking so long because my computer just keeps freezing. And just with everything I'm going through, I'm trying to kind of work on my perfectionist habits. This video is going to be full of mistakes. I'm probably going to stutter or mispronounce a word or pause. I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to keep going. I hope you enjoy it anyways. So you may have noticed that I actually skipped the quote page this month and I made my monthly in the section where the quote page normally goes. And the reason I did that is because something I say very often, I'm not trying to work for my bullet journal. I'm trying to make it work for me. And so that means I am not going to stay rigid and structured in the way that I normally do my bullet journal themes. If I need to make adjustments to the layouts so that, you know, I may not have have as much time to create my themes. I may feel a little bit over the quotes, or, maybe nothing is really coming to me and making me feel inspired, which I do feel like that. I just really didn't want to waste any time creating a quote page when I just didn't feel the need to, I guess. Okay, so let's get into the habit and mood trackers for March. My layout is very similar to the style that I normally do, except for the fact that for the habits, instead of doing like a square border, I'm doing this more rectangular border where there's 15 boxes across and then 3 boxes down. And so the bottom 2 rows is where I will put in a dot for every day that I complete a habit that, I've been wanting to track. There are a couple new additions to this layout that I don't normally do. I did do them in my February bullet journal theme, but I didn't create a plan with me for it. So one of the things I added was the monthly numerical calendar. And this was especially important for me because I just noticed with this kind of horizontal boxed layout for the habits, I just kept flipping back and forth to figure out, what day are we on? What week are we on? Sometimes I just kind of lose that in my mind. And so that was helpful. And then I also added a notes section in this page. The notes section is kind of just like a free write section for me, where I can kind of just write down thoughts I may have on my ever-changing moods that are always up and down. I did this in February and I really liked it. I actually added a lot of places to write down my thoughts and, for me to express myself in my bullet journal. I like it a lot because I feel like I'm personalizing my bullet journal a lot more rather than just making it all about productivity. I did add a little quote to this page. It's a shortened version of another quote, but it basically says, maybe thorns have roses. And I think the long version goes, I don't know if roses have thorns, or maybe it's that thorns have roses. And I really liked the creativity behind this and like kind of the deeper meaning. I don't even know if I said that quote right. I'm sure I didn't. I resonated a lot with these words because, actually the quote on my cover page says there is beauty in the place that you're in. And, with everything that I'm feeling, the anxiety, overwhelm, like self-doubt, I feel a little defeated at the moment as well. Like, I just want to be able to kind of see that there is beauty and love and a sense of self that is there if I just look for it. And it's just a reminder that, I'm not gone, I'm not lost, I'm right here, and I'm going to be okay, even though it may feel like I'm not going to be okay. I'm really trying to just simplify things in my mind, relearning the things that I've learned plenty of times before that I constantly forget because I'm human, and that's just kind of the way life works. Glennon Doyle says this a lot. She says she's like Finding Dory, where she just kind of just forgets everything she gained in terms of wisdom and then has to relearn it after going through kind of like a dark period. And I just relate to that so much. I actually think I've already mentioned that in a YouTube video. Sorry if I'm just like repeating myself in every video, but I feel like I'm in the middle of that right now. I'm just relearning how to connect to myself. But one thing I will say is that I trust that at this point now in my life, like I trust that I'm going to get out of it because I have so many times. Like, sometimes it may feel like it's the end of the world, but it doesn't feel so much like I'm just gonna die and nothing is ever gonna be okay again. Like I trust that, this too shall pass. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. So this is kind of my brain dump page. I added this page in my February bullet journal theme and I just loved it so much. I used it so much, so I decided to bring it into March. And as you can probably already tell, my theme this month is not very minimal. Like I went into a very artistic art style. I'm using a lot of stippling and hashes, like a lot of marks on the page, and this is just because I have been, like I said, re-inspired in terms of art, and I really want to try exploring and experimenting with new types of art because right now I'm kind of finding solace in it. I am not really interested in reading right now. I'm not into writing. I think I'm kind of going through a period where I just want to do something different, and art just became that thing. And at least I have something, and maybe I'll get back into writing more and reading more later, but this is just where I'm at right now, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I love this page so much. No, it's not minimal, but that's okay. Like, I know that I talk a lot about how, you know, it's okay to make your bullet journal minimal, especially if you don't have a lot of time. And I also say that like very decorative bullet journals, like, you know, I haven't really gone there a lot, and maybe I am in this theme, but I'm having fun with it. So, you know, we're gonna go through shifts in our bullet journaling journey, and I think it's good to accept where we're at and take it on full force. So I do have 3 sections here. One is the reflections section, which is going to take 2 of the windows here, and then I have a section where I can jot down things I want to create, and then the last section is a to buy section, and these are just things that I want to buy for my business because I have a lot of things, a lot of expenses kind of right now piling up because I'm trying to like scale my business and make it so that I am able to make an income and financially support myself, because I just feel like I need to move out in the next couple of months or I am going to go crazy. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff behind that, you know, we can't really get into in this video, but obviously, like, I've been an open book and I'd love to share everything that's going on in my life. But I normally share that more on Instagram. So if you want to be a part of this, go to Instagram and follow me there. Okay, let's get into the last page of this bullet journal theme, which is my weekly. And like always, I'm just using the sepia toned Sakura fine liners. I'm not really going into the higher numbers. Maybe for the headers, I'm using like a 03, but most of like the outlining and everything is done in the plastic nib, and also the 003 and the 005. I do that every single month, and so I don't really want to like waste your time repeating myself throughout every video. If anything is like different or if I changed anything, that is what I will mention. If I don't mention it, then you can just assume that I'm using the same thing I've used in the last video. For the March header, I made this vintage mirror drawing with a rose in it, and then I used like this very vintage style banner that says March, and I just love it so much. I think this would be such a cute sticker. And then for each of the days of the weeks, the borders are, you know, these frames. I have been obsessed with junk journaling, and I just love the frame cutouts, and I'm actually gonna make some and put them on my shop and everything, which I'm really excited about. I have 3 sections over to the left for 3 different lists, and one list is the content creation, another is a to-do list, and the last one is my gratitude list. As you can probably already tell, the color palette is a very pastel, muted, neutral toned color range, and I am actually using a lot of pinks. I am obsessed with like a very muted toned pink right now. The majority of the colors I'm using are from the Crayola color pack, the World Pack, I believe that's what it's called. I don't know if they changed the multicultural name or not, but I think it has like 36 markers in it, and I'm just using all the lighter tones. I love these markers so much. I am so happy I got them because I cannot find this light of a color range in any other water-based marker, which I believe is ridiculous and a perfect business opportunity for anyone who makes stationery. I would do it, but I just have a lot going on right now. One day that will definitely be something I will explore. I've also been experimenting a lot in terms of like the details in shading. So I am darkening some parts of it just to give it a little bit more depth and dimension, and that means I'm just layering the same color over and over to make it darker and thicker, and then I'm finding a color that is similar in the hue to just add a little touch of, more saturation. And because there's no white water-based marker, I know I can use like a jelly roll or something. I just don't really like the look of it in my bullet journal. So if I want to like highlight a section of my drawing, I'm just leaving it blank with no color on it, so the background of the bullet journal page kind of acts as the highlight in my drawing. So I did say in my 2022 bullet journal setup and in my January bullet journal theme that I'm probably gonna create tabs throughout my entire bullet journal for the rest of this year. So I'm just doing that same thing for this theme as well. I'm making all of the weekly tabs the same washi, just so I can differentiate between the weeklies and then the setup pages for this month. I also make all of the tabs on the cover page for each month a lot longer than the tabs on the rest of the layouts. So I did the math, and I think I'm going to be doing about 8 tabs for the month of March. So all of the shorter tabs were about 5 boxes, and then the cover page tab was 8 boxes. The math might be a little bit different for you because I am using the smaller version of a A5 bullet journal by Notebook Therapy. So just make sure to double check your grid sheet if you do decide to make some tabs. Another vintage/Victorian touch I added was I cut up this lace ribbon in half and I just lined the edge of my weekly with it. I just use regular glue stick to stick it on. It actually worked really well considering it's not really designed for fabric. And that's really all. Let's get into the flip through. I had a lot of fun drawing out this theme. I'm excited to see where it goes. I know the style and like the layouts are going to change by the time we get to the end of the month. I do want to say that I post all of my spreads on Patreon. I've been having a really hard time posting on Instagram lately. There's just been kind of this pressure and expectation that I just am avoiding a little bit, and so if you wanted to check them out, they're available on my Patreon. Let's get into the outro.
Well, that's it for the March plan with me. I hope you liked it, and just a friendly reminder, it's okay to take a break from bullet journaling. It's okay to change things up from the way you've been normally doing things. I know it can be scary, but we don't want bullet journaling to become a burden or an expectation or this pressure, and that's something I definitely practiced when I didn't do my plan with me last month, because that was honestly a terrifying thing for me to do, but I looked at what I needed in the moment, and I'm continuing to do that. And we're not going to be perfect at it, but we can do the best we can and just look at what we need and be honest with ourselves about that. The good question to ask is this still fun for me? Is this still giving me a sense of freedom and joy when I do it, or is it constraining and causing this tension inside of us? Those are good things to ask when we are going on this creative journey, or any journey really. Anyways, I am gonna go eat breakfast now because food is good for the soul, and I hope you all have a lovely day. And if no one told you they loved you today, I love you so very much.